that. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Nerd at Heart. I'm your host, Adrian.
And I'm your co-host, Patrick.
It's good to see you here on this wonderful November morning. We've got a special show for you guys. So today we have a guest. We're going to be welcoming in author David Rooker today. So let's go ahead and bring David in. Hey, David, how's it going?
Hey, y'all, how's it going?
This is going to be an interview episode where we get to, like I said, talk to other members of the community, get to learn a little bit about them, what makes them tick as nerds, and what inspires them, and what is their passion, and what did they do. David, let's start with talking a little bit about where it all started. So, how did you become a nerd or geek? And who inspired you, to kind of do that? Or who kind of led you in that direction?
I got a funny story for that one, actually. When I was a kid, my mom thought that Pokemon was like this game for like animal violence, basically. Like, she thought that it was like this horrible game that taught you how to like treat animals in these horrible, sadistic ways. And I always wanted to play Pokemon. All the little kids in my third grade, fourth grade class, they had the Pokemon games, and I always wanted one. So finally, my dad took me out, got me a Nintendo DS Lite. What is that? 2008, I think it was 2009. And the Pokemon Diamond game. And from there, it was just, I think that was the first nerd moment I ever had, was going up to, I think it was Lake Verity on the Pokemon game.
Okay.
And getting attacked by the Starlies, and seeing the briefcase open up and getting to choose. I chose Chimchar for my first starter. I know a lot of people, it extends back a lot longer, and a lot of people got a lot of things to say about the Diamond and Pearl games, but they're some of my favorite games ever, honestly.
Sometimes, I kind of have a similar path with my son, kind of sneaking him off a little bit, to go do some nerd stuff, under the radar. I think a lot of people could kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
So, are you still kind of passionate about Pokemon and all that?
Heck yeah. It was fun. We had a Halloween party a couple weeks ago at our apartment, and I have this huge box of Pokemon toys. Always really been into the games too.
Yeah.
And my good friend, my good buddy Nick, his girlfriend Kristen has a daughter, and their daughter got to come over and play with Pokemon toys, and it was just, that was me at her age, just being so
David's
excited,
Yeah, David's already indoctrinating other children to
always, man. I'm indoctrinating children into Pokemon always, man.
He's keeping it up. He's keeping it going.
Yeah, I was, because I have to say, because I'm older in the group, and I can still remember when it was just the original 150, and that was what you had to know. You had to know all of the evolution, the types, and all of this. And it was just, and we started releasing it because I worked at a Blockbuster at the time. We started releasing it in the US. And, funny enough, it didn't seem like it was going to be this thing. It just kind of popped up, and it was like, oh, here's another anime in the United States. Oh, look, it's nice. They're making it like a kid's cartoon and showing it on TV. Next thing you know, it's all over the place.
So, David, would you say that was like your first nerd obsession growing up, or like did you have another? Or
I would say It's a toss-up, probably between either Pokemon or Beyblades.
Okay, yeah, that was another big one.
I'd say it's either a toss-up between one or the other. I can't remember which came first, to be honest.
Okay, so it was like tie neck and neck, just
Yeah.
Beyblade going, oh, Pokemon's coming.
Like the linear progression of it. I can't remember which came first, but I know I was obsessed with Beyblades. Like Beyblades were it in third grade. Like we would, and I like the Beyblades nowadays. They got the Beyblade Burst, and it's a cool concept because they do it on like a point scale, I believe. Like if your Beyblade bursts, you get 2 points, and if yours is the last stop, but no one busts.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think my son has a Beyblade, and
okay,
but nothing beats the nostalgia of getting your box with your original Beyblade in it.
Yeah.
Getting to open it, getting to put it together. I remember like my dad bought me a Beyblade at the store while we were out doing something, and I was so excited to put it together. I opened it in the car, and he was like, "You're gonna lose the pieces, getting to pluck out each piece from the little frames or whatnot." That is something I'll never forget. And like you really can't do that nowadays because they don't make them like that anymore with little pieces. You get to push into the bottom of the Beyblade and everything. That was
yeah. So David, would you say that you're like you said, are you still heavily into Pokemon and Beyblade from like when you first got introduced to it?
So not as into Beyblades. I still have my old Beyblades.
Yeah.
Like the Dragoons and the whatever else, I can't remember the names, but I would say definitely more into Pokemon.
Okay.
I still occasionally play the games when I can find the time to,
Yeah. Pokemon is a more evolutionary thing. It still grows,
Yeah.
So I think it's a very alive kind of series.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people give the mega evolutions and the the big Pokemon or the one, they give them a hard time, but it's just Pokemon trying to be innovative with their concepts and everything. And honestly, I thought the mega evolutions were dope. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I wish they would have kept going with those because I was like, in my head when they re-released Pokemon Diamond and Pearl as Shining Diamond and I don't know, it was Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Just a couple of years ago, I was ready for the mega evolutions to be in there. I was almost like in my head, I was like, we're going to get a mega Infernape. We're going to get a mega, all these things. And they did not come through for you, boy.
Okay. So, and what are things that you nerd out about now? We know Pokemon, you still, do your thing with, but any other things, avenues of nerddom that you enjoy?
Well, I'm definitely, and Patrick, I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I would say I get into anime a little bit, and then there's I used to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
I used to watch that religiously, like
Okay.
all the Buddhist concepts, and I got into Buddhism a little bit recently. I used to meditate a little bit.
Okay.
All the Buddhist concepts in there, and just the radical concepts of love and
well that kind of you
humanity and everything.
Yeah, you kind of went into my next question was like, what from your nerddoms have you kind of taken to heart, or you see yourself like putting into your own facet of life?
Oh, like I said, definitely that just and going back to Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's all those struggles that Aang and his friends have. Like Sokka's is having that hard-edged masculinity throughout the series, and him kind of coming around to understanding that women are just as strong as we are. And then, there's Aang having to deal with this pressure that he never really wanted to, and having to meet that, and him being able to be the Avatar, as opposed to like all the other ones who came before him, who were telling him like sometimes you just have to commit evil acts, to stop
Get peace.
evil people, and he found a way to overcome that. And I think that's in a way that didn't harm anybody. I think that's a beautiful thing to take away, is to try to commit as little harm as possible.
Okay. It's so you've really, it's helped shape your ideals and, kind of morality system, if you will.
I would say definitely, man.
Okay.
Like Avatar: The Last Airbender it's a great show for kids to watch, adults to watch. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about nerd culture, are those pieces of nerd culture where it's something that kids get and adults get, and they can watch alongside each other, and it's good for all ages.
And then, we know you're an author. So would you say, growing up with these things, with the nerddom, has helped influence your writings?
I'd say a little bit. I'd say a good bit. I mean, I'm working on a full-fledged kind of novel right now. It's called How Things Are. It's got some politics in there. I won't go into any of that, but the whole idea of it is testing privilege in our country,
Okay.
and it's talking about people who are underprivileged in our country, and it's from the perspective of a white dude. His name is Frank Leash Idapins. And he's just sort of going through life trying to figure out where his place is, and how he can fit in to his place without, because I feel like for men especially, it's easy for us to talk about things, it's easy for us to have a loud or strong voice, but it can be a struggle for us sometimes to kind of reel that voice back in so we can make space for everybody else to to be there and open up about who they are. And I think that it's a story about that. It's just about how to be this white cis straight male in a society with all these beautiful people in it, who also have all these beautiful stories, and who have every right to share their beautiful stories with us and have all these things we can learn from them.
So again, harmony and, tranquility, like you just said, aspects you got from, Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, well, it sounds wonderful. I understand, you're not finished with it yet, but when you are, maybe we can have you back on the show to plug it.
That would be
definitely
great, man.
Okay.
I'd love to.
And we're gonna go over some news now. Do you want to stick around for that with us? Maybe give your opinion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.